1. Welcome back to the Air Crash Investigations channel. Today we're diving into a jaw-dropping incident that shook the aviation world to its core. On that fateful day, July 25, 2000, Air France Flight 4590 was ready for an epic journey from Paris to the buzzing streets of New York. Little did anyone know, this flight would go down in history as the one and only fatal Concorde accident in its remarkable 27-year reign. As the Concorde gracefully taxied down the runway at Charles de Gaulle Airport, disaster struck. Unbeknownst to the crew, a deadly surprise lay in wait. Debris boldly positioned itself in the path of this magnificent bird of the sky. And as the wheels made contact with the runway, chaos ignited. A tire exploded, shattering into fragments that rocketed skyward with immense force. These relentless projectiles unleashed their fury upon the underside of the wing, causing catastrophic damage to the aircraft's landing gear. The fuel tank, firmly embedded within the wing, suffered a cruel fate, succumbing to the relentless assault and tearing wide open. What came next was pure chaos. A deluge of fuel poured out, an insidious river of destruction. And then, like a match struck in the darkness, ignition. The leaked fuel sparked into a blazing inferno, engulfing the left-hand side engines in a fiery demise. The Concorde fought to stay aloft, but its battle was in vain. With the loss of thrust, the extended landing gear causing unbearable drag, and the flight controls crippled by the ravages of fire, the pilot's worst nightmare unfolded before their eyes. The Concorde could no longer be tamed. Just 2 minutes after takeoff, it hurtled towards the unsuspecting town of Gonesse, crashing into a hotel with a gut-wrenching impact. Escape was futile for all aboard that ill-fated flight. The 9 crew members and 100 passengers met their tragic end, along with 4 innocent souls in the hotel. It was a chilling reminder of the fragility of life, the consequences of a single misstep in the realm of aviation. In the aftermath of this horrific event, the Concorde fleet was grounded. The world held its breath as experts puzzle over the cause of such devastation. Changes were made, modifications were implemented, and on November 7, 2001, the Concorde bravely returned to service. But alas, its glory days were numbered. Limited commercial success haunted this once mighty bird of the sky. Air France bid farewell to the beloved Concorde in May 2003, followed by British Airways in November of the same year. It was the end of an era, sparking both sorrow and reflection on the legacy left behind. Join us next time as we continue our exploration of the most captivating and monumentally tragic air crash investigations in history. Remember, in this unforgiving realm of flight, one moment of fate can change everything. Stay tuned and fly safe. 2. Now let's meet the brave souls who piloted this magnificent Concorde on its final and tragic journey. Captain Christian Marty was a seasoned aviator with Air France, having joined the airline back in 1967. With an impressive 13,477 flight hours under his belt, including 317 hours on the Concorde, Marty was no stranger to the skies. Throughout his esteemed career, he commanded various aircraft, from the Boeing 727 and 737 to the Airbus A300, A320, and A340. Alongside Captain Marty was First Officer Jean Marcot, a loyal member of Air France since 1971. With an impressive 10,035 flight hours, including 2,698 on the Concorde, Marcot brought a wealth of expertise to the cockpit. Prior to his Concorde days, Marcot had navigated the skies in diverse aircraft, such as the Aerospatiale N262, Morane Saulnier MS N916, Paris, Sud Aviation, Caravelle, and Airbus A300. Rounding out the trio was fleet engineer Gilles Jardinaud, who joined the ranks of Air France in 1968. Jardinaud had accumulated an impressive 12,532 flight hours, with 937 specifically dedicated to the Concorde. His aviation endeavors extended various aircraft, including the Sud Aviation Caravelle, Dassault Falcon 20, 727, 737, and even the majestic Boeing 747, including the illustrious 400 variant. Together, this team of skilled professionals embarked on their ill-fated flight, unaware of the tragic fate that awaited them. Join us as we uncover the shocking events leading up to the Concorde's final flight and unravel the intricate web of circumstances that ultimately led to disaster. Stay tuned to the Air Crash Investigations channel for more gripping tales from the tumultuous world of aviation. 3. As the Concorde thundered down the runway at Charles de Gaulle Airport, another unsuspecting aircraft took to the skies. Continental Airlines Flight 55, a McDonnell Douglas DC-1030, was on its way to Newark International Airport. Little did anyone know, a tiny piece of metal would set in motion a chain of events that would lead to unimaginable tragedy. At 16:38 CEST, just 5 minutes before the Concorde departed, the DC-1030 lost a crucial strip of titanium alloy from its engine cowl. This seemingly insignificant piece, merely a wear strip, fell onto the very same runway that the Concorde was about to conquer. It was 435 millimeters long, 29 to 34 millimeters wide, and a mere 1.4 millimeters thick. Miraculously, the DC-10 continued its journey without incident. However, at 16:42, fate took hold. The Concorde raced down the runway, reaching a speed of 185 mph, 300 km/h. In a cruel twist of destiny, it collided with the lost strip of titanium, causing catastrophic damage. The tire on the left main wheel bogie was torn apart, and a massive chunk of tirailled debris weighing 4.5 kilograms, 9.9 pounds, rocketed into the underbelly of the left wing at a staggering speed of 140 meters per second, 270 knots, 500 km/h, 310 mph. This devastating blow did not puncture any fuel tanks directly, but it triggered a catastrophic domino effect. The immense pressure shockwave ruptured the number 5 fuel tank at its weakest point, just ahead of the left landing gear. Well, like an unstoppable torrent, fuel poured out from the ruptured tank, a deadly river that could ignite at any moment, and ignite it did. A spark, an electric arc in the landing gear bay, or a searing contact with hot engine parts, any of these factors could have been the catalyst. Flames erupted, a fierce inferno that enveloped the left wing. The ordeal did not end there. Engines 1 and 2 roared with life, only to lose all power due to the ingestion of hot gases and tire debris. Engine 1 struggled, recovering slowly in a desperate attempt to fight against the chaos. Frantic communication between air traffic controller Gila Lojalin and the crew took place. Lojalin noticed the flames even before the Concorde had left the ground. However, by that point, the aircraft had passed the critical V1 speed, the point of no return. Taking off was deemed too dangerous to abort. As the Concorde fought to gain altitude and speed, its remaining 3 engines struggled to compensate for the damage. But it was all in vain. The landing gear bay door had suffered irreparable harm, preventing the retraction of the undercarriage. The aircraft was trapped, unable to climb, accelerate, or maneuver effectively. The situation grew more bleak as the fire ravaged the inner 11 of the left wing, melting it into oblivion under the extreme heat. The already dire circumstances worsened when engine number 1 surged again, but this time without full recovery. The asymmetrical thrust caused the right wing to lift, tipping the aircraft at an alarming angle of over 100 degrees. In a final desperate attempt to regain control, the crew reduced the power on engines 3 and 4. They desperately wanted to level the aircraft, to bring it back from the precipice of disaster. But it was too late. The Concorde succumbed to the forces working against it. Deceleration took hold, the aircraft stalled, and gravity unleashed its unforgiving grip. Left wing low, the Concorde crashed into the Hotelissimo Le Relais Bleu Hotel, shattering lives in an instant. The impact was devastating, the damage irreparable. A passerby captured the haunting aftermath on video, a grim reminder of the fragile and perilous nature of aviation. Join us next time as we continue our thrilling journey through the world of air crash investigations. The skies can be merciless, unforgiving, but together, we will uncover the truth behind these tragedies and strive for a safer future in the world of flight. Stay tuned and fly safe. 4. Tragedy struck not only those on board the ill-fated Concorde, but also those who eagerly awaited their destination. The flight had been chartered by the prestigious German company, Peter Dielman Cruises. Its passengers, filled with excitement and anticipation, were en route to board the elegant MS Deutschland cruise ship in New York. A grand adventure awaited them on a 16-day voyage to Manta, Ecuador. Little did they know, their dreams would be cut short in the blink of an eye. Among the passengers were notable individuals, including German football manager Rudi Fasnacht and Christian Goetz, a respected member of the German Trade Union Board. Their presence on that flight was a testament to the mix of diverse backgrounds and unique life stories that converged on that tragic day. As the Concorde crashed into the Hotelissimo Hotel in Gonesse, a devastating blow was struck. Along with the passengers and crew on board, 4 of the hotel's employees were also caught in the path of this catastrophic event. Lives were lost, dreams were shattered, and a community was left to grapple with the aftermath of unspeakable tragedy. Join us as we pay tribute to those who perished and delve further into the investigation surrounding this heart-wrenching Concorde crash. The Air Crash Investigations channel will continue to uncover the truth behind these devastating events, one flight at a time. 5. Following the crash, a temporary suspension of all Air France Concorde flights took place as authorities launched an investigation to determine the cause of the incident and identify potential solutions. It is believed that Air France continued operating the Concorde despite financial losses, driven by a sense of national pride, while British Airways claimed to have a profitable Concorde operation. 425. British Airways' Concorde operation reportedly made an average net profit of $30 million per year until the unfortunate crash of Air France Flight 4590 in Paris, according to Concorde pilot Jacques Lowe. Commercial service resumed on November 7, 2001, after a $17 million safety improvement program, $24 million today, but the retirement of the Concorde occurred between May, Air France, and October, British Airways, in 2003. Despite the accident, the Concorde maintained its reputation as one of the world's safest aircraft at the time, and it continues to hold this distinction even after retirement. This tragic incident remains the only fatal accident in the entire career of the Concorde. 5. The official investigation into the crash of Air France Flight 4590 was led by France's Accident Investigation Bureau, the Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis for Civil Aviation Safety, BEA. The investigation uncovered several key findings regarding the factors that contributed to the accident. Firstly, it was determined that the aircraft was overloaded, exceeding the maximum safe takeoff weight by 810 kilograms, 170 pounds. However, the investigation concluded that this excess weight had a negligible effect on the aircraft's takeoff performance. Another significant finding was that during the takeoff roll, a metal strip, a wear strip, lying on the runway, caused the tire of the number 2 wheel to be cut. This strip had fallen from the thrust reverser cowl door of a Continental Airlines DC-10 that had taken off from the same runway just 5 minutes prior to the Concorde. The investigation revealed that the wear strip had not been installed in accordance with the manufacturer's procedures, leading to its detachment. Furthermore, it was determined that the Concorde was airworthy and the crew was qualified. While 2 of the engines had encountered problems and 1 had been shut down, the damage to the aircraft's structure was so severe that the crash would have been inevitable, even with the engines operating normally. The investigation also identified additional factors and alternative theories. Former British Airways Concorde captain John Hutchinson expressed his belief that the fire alone should have been survivable and that the pilot should have been able to manage the situation. Hutchinson pointed to operational errors and negligence in the maintenance department as contributing factors to the outcome of the accident. During the examination of the wreckage, investigators discovered that a spacer was missing from the left-hand main landing gear bogey beam. This resulted in an uneven alignment of the landing gear and contributed to the veering of the Concorde to the left during takeoff. It was also observed that a steel landing light had been clipped by the aircraft, potentially causing damage to engine number 1. These findings and alternative theories formed the basis of the final report issued by the BEA on January 16, 2002. The investigation shed light on the various factors and circumstances that led to the crash of Air France Flight 4590 and provided insights into areas that required improvements to enhance aviation safety. According to former Concorde pilot Jean-Marie Chauve and former Concorde flight engineer Michel Suot, who prepared a comprehensive report following the crash, they re-evaluated two factors that were initially considered insignificant by the BEA, Bureau of Inquiry and Analysis. These factors included the unbalanced weight distribution in the fuel tanks and the loose landing gear. Chauve and Suot presented detailed calculations suggesting that if the missing undercarriage spacer had not caused retardation, the aircraft would have taken off 1684 meters down the runway before reaching the point where the metal strip was located. However, the BA disputed this, stating that the acceleration was normal. During takeoff, the Concorde had an additional 1.2 tons of fuel remaining, which should have been burnt during the aircraft's taxi. Additionally, 19 pieces of unmanifested luggage, weighing approximately 500 kilograms, were loaded onto the aircraft at the last minute. This resulted in the aircraft weighing 186 tons, exceeding its certified maximum structural weight by 1 ton. A change in wind conditions created an 8-knot tailwind, which should have reduced the authorized takeoff weight to 180 tons, 6 tons less than the actual weight. However, no change in takeoff direction occurred, and the aircraft took off with the excess weight. The accident and subsequent modifications to Concorde were aimed at improving its safety and addressing the issues that led to the crash. These modifications included more secure electrical controls, Kevlar lining in the fuel tanks to prevent fuel leakage, and specially designed burst-resistant tires. However, despite these modifications, the crash of the Air France Concorde marked the beginning of the end for the aircraft. The incident, combined with the impact of the September 11 attacks, led to a significant decrease in passenger numbers and ultimately contributed to the discontinuation of Concorde flights. In an attempt to revive the aircraft, two groups, the British Save Concorde Group, SCG, and the French group Olympus 593, made efforts in June 2010 to bring back Concorde for heritage flights in time for the 2012 Summer Olympics. They aimed to obtain 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus engines from the Le Bourget Air and Space Museum. However, their attempts were unsuccessful, and Concorde remained retired from service permanently. The extra fuel in the rear tank, combined with the additional luggage, shifted the aircraft's center of gravity beyond the safe operating limit of 54%, as set by Concorde test pilots. Furthermore, as the damaged forward tank 5 began to leak fuel, the center of gravity moved even further rearward. At one point, it approached a recently landed Air France Boeing 747, carrying then French President Jacques Chirac, who was returning from a summit meeting in Okinawa, Japan. 28:35. As the Concorde prepared to leave the tarmac, the aircraft's speed was only 188 knots, which was 11 knots below the minimum recommended velocity. The flight engineer prematurely shut down engine number 2 when the aircraft was only at 25 feet altitude. The standard procedure for shutting down an engine is to wait until stable flight is achieved at 400 feet and then only upon the captain's command. If you enjoyed this content and would like to stay updated on similar topics, we invite you to subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified whenever we release new videos, ensuring that you don't miss out on any future content. Feel free to leave a comment below with any thoughts or questions you may have, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you once again for your support, and we look forward to sharing more intriguing content with you in the future.